Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me. My name is Gordon Berry. I'm going to take you through a very short presentation on what I call going from chaos to calm. And I'll share a few things along the way that I hope will help people who are dealing with stress and anxiety. And if it's okay with you, I'll do a little pitch at the end. Hopefully that's good with you. I assume you're here because you're fed up, feeling stressed, feeling down, grumpy, anxious, worried, depressed, etc. Fed up, feeling like you're fighting the whole universe, like you're going from one problem to another, fighting fires. Maybe you're weary of it all, feeling like you're just dog tired. Well, I've been there too, but there was a turning point for me about 20 years ago, probably, where my experiences changed. And what I'd really love to do is share with you what changed, how it changed, and how you can maybe tap into that as well. Since that time, 20 years ago, I went on to study things like neuro-linguistic programming, a kind of psychology, how your brain operates, also hypnosis, timeline therapy, and a few others. For many, life is a bit of an emotional roller coaster. One minute we're fine, we're going along just great, and then suddenly, wham, something knocks us for six, and we struggle to get our balance back. Stress can show up as this tormented mind where does anybody else have a busy mind where you're talking to yourself all the time? We all talk to ourselves in our head, right? That's not just me. The other thing that we do in there is that we create pictures. So we've got an entire cinema screen in there with full surround sound, and the movies are playing all the time. And the dialogue, the internal chatter is non-stop, particularly when we're under stress. Have you ever had the experience, you might be on one end or the other of this, where the parents sitting at home waiting on the kids to come home and they're not in by the agreed time? And the parents start making up stories in their head about all the terrible things that might have happened. And they get themselves all worried and in a state, start phoning friends, have you seen them, etc. And then the kids breeze in the door, happy as Larry. They just lost track of time. They were having such a good time enjoying themselves. Everything was fine. You ever experienced that? And yet the mind had allowed the parents to get distressed. Or maybe it's as simple as you said something to a friend the other day and it didn't quite come out the way you would have liked it. And now you're worrying about what that friend is thinking, when in actual fact, it just breezed right past them. They weren't troubled at all. But you're running the anxiety, wondering about it. It's little wonder stressed and anxious people end up with headaches, sore heads, can't sleep, all these sort of things. Can you relate? In addition, there is, of course, also the emotions triggered by stress and anxiety. I've listed a few on the screen. Have I missed any? If we were playing stress bingo, how many of these emotions on the screen would you be able to tick or circle? Anyone heading for a full house? Let's look at the first one on the screen, anger. They say holding on to anger is like holding on to hot coals, hoping the other person gets burnt. It doesn't work like that. In fact, when you're angry, who really hurts? I don't mean who do you lash out at? I mean, inside, who really hurts? What sort of person does it make you to be around? How does it make you feel? So the negative emotion of anger is really rather pointless if the only person that's hurting is you. Wouldn't you rather enjoy positive emotions, happiness, joy, excitement, love, peace, gratitude, contentment? Happiness is an emotion. There's a clue here. It's a feeling. It's not something out there that needs to be chased. It's inside. Of course, instinctively, we know that negative emotions are not good for the body and that positive emotions are helpful to the body. So let's look at that because stress can also show up as physical symptoms, tiredness. You've been running a constant internal dialogue all day. No wonder you're tired. But also headache, no energy, skin blemishes and disorders, etc., bags under the eyes, inability to sleep. Anyone experienced any of these symptoms? Imagine being so good at stress. Look at the bottom one on the list. Imagine being so good at stress that you can give yourself an ulcer. There has to be a better superpower than being able to burn holes in your own stomach. And these symptoms are a bit like the red light showing up on the dashboard. Starts off amber, but if you don't pay attention, pretty soon you're going to be looking for help. So, if stress and anxiety cause mental, emotional, and physical issues, then any solution has to deal with the mental, the emotional, and the physical. Any so-called solution that doesn't must, by definition, be incomplete at best. So my solution from chaos to calm has three pillars. Number one, the mind. Our thoughts influence the body. Think about it. How do you wiggle your toe? Our thoughts influence our body. You don't have to tell muscle one to speak to muscle two, to move muscle three, etc. You can do it with a thought. Our thoughts also affect how we feel. And here's really the first of our learnings. This is something they don't teach us in school that they maybe should. Just for a moment, for a bit of fun, can you think about somebody that you love? If you can't think about anyone, maybe you've been married for a long time, I'm joking. If you can't think about anyone, then maybe think of your favorite movie star or pop star. So think about somebody that you love and see if you can get a picture of them in your mind's eye. And see if you can focus on that picture. How does it make you feel inside as you think about that person? Feel good, right? Now, who did that? Me or you? You did that. You were polite and you followed along. I made the suggestion and you followed along. But you could have done anything in your head. So you did that. True? And how long did it take? In an instant. So you have the ability to affect how you feel. In fact, if you think about it, you're only ever one thought away from happiness. Something to think about. So you can affect how you feel by what you focus on. What prevents you from doing this is partly limiting beliefs and also what society has taught us over the years about what's possible. And a lot of it, I'm afraid, isn't very helpful. Oftentimes it disempowers us. So what we end up with is what I refer to as gunk in the pipes. I like to think of us as almost like test tubes from science classes. Do you remember science classes back when you were in school and you got test tubes? Imagine the human body as being like a test tube. And quite early in life, something happens and your parents say to you, oh, you're just sad or you're just angry or you're just hurt. You go, oh, that's what that is. Okay. And then the test tube starts to fill up. And another little event happens where you're hurt or you're angry or you're sad or whatever. And then another little event. And then maybe a big event. A few more little events, another big event. And as we go through life. And for most adults, the test tube is full to the brim. It's right up to here. One more little thing happens, test tube overflows. One little thing happens, person overreacts. It wasn't that little thing. It was all the gunk in the pipes, all the gunk in the test tube. What difference would it make if we can clear out all the gunk in the test tubes? Imagine if we could take out all that attachment to negative emotion from the past. They say we have 60,000 thoughts a day. But for a lot of people, they're having the same thoughts day after day after day. If we can just clear that gunk out, next little thing that happens, because life will happen, but next little thing happens, and they're like, whatever, because the test tube wasn't already up to here. They weren't overflowing. I hope that makes sense. How you feel emotionally is linked to how you feel physically. It's a two-way connection. And the body is the house that you have to live in. It can't be built on quicksand. With advances in science, we might be able to do things with the body these days to change parts, but it's still the same body that you have to live in. So, one example of this is the breath. And hopefully, everybody listening to this is breathing right now. Otherwise, you probably don't need much guidance on stress and anxiety. We breathe naturally without thinking about it. It's almost unconscious, or at least it's generally below the conscious radar. Yet when we're stressed or excited or anxious, our breathing speeds up, it accelerates. When we're calm, our breathing slows down. What if you could be so much in control you can do it consciously? If you were to breathe consciously more often, then you would be more in control of how you feel. And we actually do this naturally. When we're stressed, we often hold our breath. And then when the stressed episode is over, we let it out. You with me? If instead we could expel the breath, we could get back control. If we can catch ourselves in that stress moment and expel the breath, we can get back control. And there's a little technique that I like to think of as the birthday cake technique. So imagine there was a birthday cake in front of you and you're going to blow out the candles. And there's a lot of candles on this cake. There's 15 candles on this cake. All right, you're back to it. 15 candles. Imagine taking a breath in through your nose and then breathing out to blow out the 15 candles. You would have to blow out for quite a while. Imagine doing that. Give it a try and notice how you feel after it. Because when the out breath is longer than the in breath, it starts to regulate the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. I'll teach you more of that on the inside. This is just the introduction. So, what do we have on the inside? What I have for you, if you want it, and only you can decide if you want to, is a 90-day program that I've called From Chaos to Calm. And there are three pillars: body, mind, emotion. And within each of the three pillars, there's three sections. So 9 sections on all, and over the course of the 90 days, I will take you through the whole 9 sessions. Now, often at the beginning of the year, people will join the gym or join a yoga class, sold on the idea it helped their mental health. Anybody done that this year? Yeah. There are certain benefits to it, but it's only going to affect some elements of the 9. Other people might go for a massage. Again, you're not going to tick all 9 boxes. If you're not ticking all 9 boxes, And if you're not clearing out the old gunk in the pipes, then in my view, I'm sorry, it's just not going to be long lasting. Good though that exercise may be, good though the massage may be in the moment, it's not going to have the same long-term effects. So in the Chaos to Calm program, we'll start week one with the mind. We'll move on in due course to dealing with the emotions, and we'll also deal with the physical aspects. It may be that some of you already have some of these things sorted, and you may prefer to focus in on certain elements of the program, but we will cover all nine and just make sure you've got them ticked off. So, what is the plan? The Chaos to Calm program, £497, as I've said. It's a 90-day program, and there'll be lessons, technique, guidance. And I will help you create new habits that mean that you can do this consistently so that anything that comes up again in the future, you've got all the tools to be able to deal with it. And there'll also be weekly support calls. You can go ahead right now and join our free Facebook group. That's Facebook /groups/stress anxiety relief. Imagine just for a moment if you managed to get rid of all the unnecessary stress and anxiety that have been troubling. Imagine a life without all that firefighting and hassle and stress, where you could just breathe and enjoy it and feel good, feel excited, feel calm, feel happy, feel peaceful. This could be the difference. If it's of interest to you, please go ahead and join the free Facebook group and send me any questions. And in due course, I'll send you details about the next installment of the Chaos to Calm program. Thanks very much for listening. I hope to speak to you soon. Bye-bye.